Good morning, students. This is the time to discuss comprehensive examination of second semester 2018-19 of the course Math F113 Probability and Statistics. So it consists of the two parts, part A closed book and part B open book. So we will discuss both part one by one. Let us start with the part A. So very first question, A1A, the joint density for x comma y is given by fxy is equal to x e to power minus x into y plus 1 for x greater than 0, y greater than 0 and 0 elsewhere. Find the marginal density of y and hence for y greater than 0 compute mu of x given y. So this question belongs to the joint distribution. Here the joint PDF is given to you, and first you have to determine the marginal density. So marginal density means for the for the particular random variable you have to determine the distribution. So here what is given to you, PDF is given to you, joint PDF is given to you. So marginal density for y you have to compute. So it is integration over the limit of x, right, and you have to integrate with respect to x. So for this question it will be the 0 to infinity x e to power minus x into y plus 1 into dx. For computing the marginal density you have to write, you have to integrate with respect to x. So when you integrate by parts it will give you minus x e to power minus x into y plus 1 upon y plus 1 limit 0 to infinity minus integral 0 to infinity minus e to power minus x into y plus 1 upon y plus 1 into dx. That can be written as minus x e to power minus x into y plus 1 upon y plus 1 limit 0 to infinity plus e to power minus of e to power minus x into y plus 1 upon y plus 1 whole square limit 0 to infinity. So when you put the limit, it will give you 1 upon y plus 1 whole square for the range y greater than 0. It is very mandatory to write whenever you are writing the PDF or any other thing. It is mandatory to write the correct range for the y or any other variable. From here, if you compute the fx for the x given y, so by the conditional probability, you know, it will become fxy upon f of y, means it is nothing, it is the joint PDF, it is joint PDF, and this is the marginal PDF, marginal PDF. So joint PDF is given to you as x e to power minus x into y plus 1 upon 1 plus and upon marginal PDF we have computed in part A. So 1 upon y plus 1 whole square, which will give you x into x plus 1 whole square e to power minus x into y plus 1. So as I have told you, whenever we are writing the PDF, whether the joint PDF or the marginal PDF or simple PDF or CDF, always you have to write the correct range for the variable. So x greater than 0, y greater than 0. So from here you have to compute the expectation. So mu of x given y means for the particular value of the y you have to find the mean for the x. So you know the basic formula, it is the integral 0 to infinity x into fx. So it will become integral 0 to infinity x into fx for given y. So already f of x given y we have already computed. So 0 to infinity x plus 1 whole square e to power minus x plus minus x into y plus 1 and integral with respect to x. So here y plus 1 whole square you can take out of integral. So y plus 1 whole square integral 0 to infinity, and inside the integration integrand will be x square e to power minus x into y plus 1 dx. So when we integrate by parts, here we have the integration by parts. So on solving you will get 2 upon y plus 1. So again you have to write the correct range. Every time you have to write the correct range, otherwise we can deduct the marks here. Right, it means just for writing at one place it is not enough. Everywhere you have to write the correct range of the y. So that is the A1 part A. Let us move to A1 part B. So here a pilotless bombing drone carrying 3 bombs fly directly above the railroad track. If the bomb fall within 2.5 units of the track will sufficiently damage to disturb traffic. With a certain bomb sight, the probability density of point of impact of a bomb is given by fx is equal to alpha mod of x minus 2 x range from minus 3 to 5 and 0 elsewhere, where alpha is constant and x represent the deviation away from the track. The bomb blast when it touches the ground. Find the value of the constant alpha so that fx become valid probability density function. Find a scheme to generate value of x if deviation corresponding to all 3 bombs are simulated using 3-digit random number 573, 109 and 795. Will the track be damaged? So this is the question of the simulation. Here we have to simulate the process of bombing. So given PDF for the impact, fx is equal to alpha into mod of x minus 2 minus 3 less than equal to x less than equal to 5. And 0 elsewhere, which can be written as alpha into 2 minus x for the range of x minus 3 to 2 and alpha into x minus 2 for the range of x 2 to 5 and 0 elsewhere. So for being PDF, we know it must satisfy the two necessary and sufficient condition. First one is integral over x should equal to 1 and all the for all value of x fx must be non-negative. So from the first condition we have minus infinity to infinity fx dx that can be written as minus 3 to 2 alpha into 2 minus x into dx plus integral 2 to 5 alpha into x minus 2 dx is equal to 1. So when we integrate alpha into 2x minus x square by 2 limit minus 3 to 2 plus alpha x square by 2 minus 2x limit 2 to 5 is equal to 1. So when we put the limit, it will give you 17 alpha is equal to 1 or alpha is equal to 1 by 17. So when we put alpha in the above PDF, we will get the valid PDF because fx is non-negative for all value of x. From the given PDF, we can compute the CDF like this, right? We can compute the CDF like this. So here below, I have demonstrated how to compute the CDF. So we know that Uh, if x is less than minus 3, if x is less than minus 3, integrand is 0, so capital Fx will be the 0. For the range, of x from minus 3 to 2, Fx will be the basic formula minus infinity to x ft dt, that can be written as minus infinity to minus 3 and plus minus 3 to x. So for the first range, integrand is 0, so minus infinity to minus 3 0 dt. And for the second integral, integrand is 1 upon 17 2 minus x into dx. So on integration, we will get 1 upon 17 into 21 by 2 plus 2x minus x square by 2. Then when we put x is equal to 2, f at x is equal to 2 will come 25 by 34. In this, when we put x is equal to 2, it will give you 25 by 34. And when x belongs to 2 to 5, fx will become minus infinity to 2 plus 2 to x. So this up for this already we have computed as a 25 upon 34. So here we have written 25 upon 34 plus 2 to x. For this range, integral will be 1 upon 17 x minus 2 into dx. So on integration, you will get 1 upon 17 x square by 2 minus 2x plus 29 by 2. So when we put x is equal to 5, so or f of 5 will come the 1, and when x greater than 5, then it will remain 1. So when we combined all these things, so here you will get the correct CDF. So in the CDF, it is very necessary to to take the value of x from minus infinity to infinity, always is equal to come on the left side, always is equal to come on the left side. And here the value of the fx must range from the 0 to 1, right? So and in individual, right, at this place we have the 25 upon 34, this constant also we have. So from this constant, we take the value of random number, value of the random number between 0 to 25 upon 34 or 25 upon 34 to 1. So here we have, when we take random number from 0 to 25 upon 34, so first part, intermediate part will equal to the u. So 1 upon 17 21 by 2 plus 2x minus x square by 2 is equal to u. So that will become the quadratic equation, and we can get the roots as x is equal to 2 plus minus root of 25 minus 34 into u. For the range of u between 25 upon 34 to 1, we have 1 upon 17 x square by 2 minus 2x plus 29 by 2 is equal to u. This will give you root as x is equal to 2 plus minus root of 34 u minus 25. So from here, we can get the scheme to generate the x as follows. So x will be 2 minus root of 25 minus 34 u when u lie between 0 to 0.733, that is 25 upon 34, and it will be the 2 plus root of 34 u minus 25 when u lie between 0.733 and 1. So now in question, we have the three random digits 573, 109 and 795. So when we put these random digits as u, right, u is equal to 0.573, u is equal to 109 and u is equal to 0.795, depending over the range, we have the value of the x as minus 3490 minus 2.6 2.6 145 and 3.4248. So here we can see this belongs to the range minus 2.5 to 2.5, This also belongs to range 2.5 to 2.5, and this does not belongs to range minus 2.5 to 2.5. It means since at least one x lies in range minus 2.5 to 2.5, target will be damaged. So when target will be damaged, so it means your rail track is damaged, right? Rail track is damaged or traffic will be hindered. So that is the question number A1, part A and part B. Now let us move to question number A2. So there are the three parts. Part A, a biased six-phase die is such that probability of getting five even numbers in 100 throws is twice the probability of getting four even number. If 10,000 sets of 10 throws each are considered, what is the expected number of set to give no even number? So here, this is the question of binomial distribution. So here, first we have to define the random variable properly. So here we have let x even number in 10 throws of a die, and p is what? The probability of getting an even number in a throw of a die, means here the probability of the success. Probability of getting the even number is the success. So small p denote the probability of getting an even number in a throws of a die. So from the given condition, because the each throw are independent to each other, so it follow the binomial distribution with n is equal to 10 and p unknown, right? And probability of p is the probability of the success, and where the p is what? It is the unknown. It is unknown. So PDF or probability mass function PMF for the binomial random variate p x is equal to x will be the 10cx p to power x 1 minus p to power 10 minus x for x from 0 1 to 10. That can also be written as 10cx p to power x q to power 10 minus x. Means here we are representing the q as a 1 minus p and x vary from 0 1 2 and up to the 10. Now according to question, we have the following information that probability of x is equal to 5 is equal to twice of probability x is equal to 4. So probability of x is equal to 5 can be written as 10c5 p to power 5 q to power 5 is equal to 2 into probability of x is equal to 4 can be written as 10c4 p to power 4 q to power 6. So just you solve it, you will get the p upon 5 is equal to q upon 3, and q can be written as 1 minus p. So it will become 1 minus p upon 3. So this will give you p is equal to 5 by 8 and q is equal to, as a complementary probability, 3 by 8. Now in the question they have asked expected number of sets out of the 10,000 sets of the 10 throws, set of the 10 throws out of the 10,000 sets to give no even number. No even number means it will become 10,000 into probability of x is equal to 0. So now we know what is the value of the p. So 10,000 into 10c0, 5 upon 8 to power 0 into 3 upon 8 to power 10. So here you will get, on solving, you will get the required probability. Now in the question number A to B, the joint density for x comma y is given as fxy is equal to 15x square y for range 0 less than x less than y less than 1 and 0 elsewhere. Find correlation coefficient between 2x plus 3 and minus 3y plus 5. So here you have to determine the correlation coefficient. This is question based on the joint distribution, and you have to determine the correlation coefficient between the function of the random variable 2x plus 3 and minus 3y plus 5. So so given this is the joint PDF for the x comma y, 15x square y for range 0 less than x less than y less than 1. So from here we can compute e of x. So e of x will be the minus infinity to infinity minus infinity to infinity x into fxy dx dy. So here we write the range of x and here we have the range of the y. So integral 0 to 1 and integral 0 to y x into 15x square y dx dy. So this will become integral 0 to 1, just to integrate with respect to x. So here you will get the 15 x to power 4 upon 4 limit 0 to y into y dy, which will become integral 0 to 1 15 into y to power 5 upon 4 dy, which on integration will give you 15 upon 4 y to power 6 upon 6 limit 0 to 1, or it will be the 5 by 8. So this is the value of the ex. This is the value of the ex. Similarly, we compute the expectation of the y. So this you can compute either computing through the joint PDF or through the marginal density. So e of y integral minus infinity to infinity y into fxy dx dy. So this is the basic formula for our question. This will become integral. So here we have the limit of the y and here we have the limit of the x. So limit from 0 to 1 and integral 0 to 1 and integral 0 to y into fxy. So y into 15x square y dx into dy, which which can be written as integral 0 to 1 integral 0 to y 15x square y square dx dy. So first we integrate with respect to x. First we integrate with respect to x, then we integrate with respect to y. So here you will get integral 0 to 1 15y square and x cube upon 3 limit 0 to y, which will give you integral 0 to 1 15y square into y cube upon 3 into dy, which on integration will give you 15 by 3 y to power 6 upon 6 limit 0 to 1, or 15 upon 18 or 5 upon 6. Then after we compute the second moment of x. So e of x square, basic formula is minus infinity to infinity minus infinity to infinity x square into fxy dx dy. So here again we have the limit y is equal to 0 to 1, x is equal to 0 to y, x square into fxy, that is 15x square y dx dy. So that on integration will give you integral 0 to 1 15 x to power 5 upon 5 limit 0 to y dy. So on integration this will give you 3 into y to power 7 upon 7 limit 0 to 1 or 3 by 7. Similarly, we compute here expectation of y square. So basic formula is integral minus infinity to infinity y square fxy dx dy. So just you put the value of the fxy or joint PDF and appropriate integral limit. So integral 0 to 1 integral 0 to y square 15x square y dx dy. So on integration with respect to x, it will give you integral 0 to 1 15 by cube into x cube upon 3 integral limit 0 to y dy, which ultimately will give you integral 0 to 1 15 y cube into y cube upon 3 dy, which will give you y 5 into y to power 7 upon 7 on integration and limit 0 to 1 that will give you in 5 upon 7. So this is the value of e expectation of the second moment, right? Second moment of the y, and this is the second moment of the x. Now we compute here e of xy. So e of xy. So what is the for the given problem? It will be the integral 0 to 1, integral 0 to y xy into fxy. So fx given fxy is what? 15x square y into dx dy. So this will become integral 0 to 1, integral 0 to y 15 x cube y square dx dy. So integral 0 to 1 15 x to power 4 upon 4 limit 0 to y into y square dy, or 15 upon 4 y to power 7 upon 7 into limit 0 to 1, or it will give you 15 upon 28. So then we have to compute the covariance. For the correlation coefficient, we require the computation of the covariance. So what is the covariance? Covariance between the two random variable x comma y will be the expectation of xy minus expectation over x into expectation over y. So already we have computed above all the values. So this is the expectation of the x into y. So 15 upon 28 minus 5 upon 8 into 5 upon 6. So that will come 5 upon 336, or 0.0149. Similarly, we compute the variance of x. So variance of x will be the computational formula is e of x square minus square of ex. So already we have computed above these values. So it will become 3 by 7 minus 5 by 8 whole square. So it will come 17 upon 448, or 0.038. Variance of y means second moment of y minus square of the first moment. So 5 by 7 minus square of 5 by 6. So it will give you 5 upon 252, or 0.0198. So correlation between x comma y will be will be given by the covariance of x comma y upon root of variance of x into root of variance of y, positive square root of variance of x and positive square root of the variance of y. So covariance just now we have computed as 5 upon 336, and variance of x we have computed as 17 upon 448 and 5 upon 252. So just we put the value here, you will get the 0.54 on solving. Now in question we have to determine the correlation between 2x plus 3 minus 3y plus 5. So when we have to determine the correlation of such random variable, so we here there is no role of constant in that. So here it just you multiply 2 into minus 3, so it will be the minus 6. So minus 6 covariance between the x and y, right? Always we compute the covariance correlation between the two variable, not for the individual variable. Divide by the variance of 2x plus 3 square root of positive square root of the variance of the 2x plus 3 into square root of the variance of the minus 3y plus 5. So it is equal to the minus 6 covariance of x comma y upon 2 into variance of x into 3 into variance of y. So it will give you minus of zero point 0.4, minus of 0.4, because whatever the expression we are getting, it is equal to like this, only we have the difference of the minus. So it will become minus 0.54. Now part C of A2, the marks of 5 randomly selected students in a mid-term examination X and in the final examination Y are as follows. So these are the marks out of 100. estimate the linear regression equation of y on x. You have to determine the linear regression equation. Hence, estimate the marks in the final examination of a student who has received 40 marks in the midterm examination. So you have to predict the marks of a student in final exam. So from the given information, from the given data, means here, if in this we have the x, so summation of x we can compute, summation of y we can compute. Then from here we can compute the x square and we can compute the x comma y. So we can compute the summation of x square and summation of the xy. So all the values we have already computed here. So summation of xi will be the 320, summation of yi will be the 280, summation of xi square is equal to 21200, and summation of xy is equal to 17400. So if you have to determine the regression line of y on x, so it will take the form y is equal to b naught plus b1x, where we have to compute the coefficient, coefficient b naught and b1. So we have the following formula for computing the b1, means n into summation of xi by I minus summation of xi into summation of yi upon n into summation of xi square minus square of the summation of x. So we have all the values. So 5 into 17400 minus 320 into 280 upon 5 into 21200 minus 320 whole square. So on solving, it will give you minus 0.72. So after having the value of the b1, we can compute the b naught as summation of yi minus b1 into summation of xi upon n. So it will give you, from the given information, it will give you 280 minus 0.72 into 320 upon 5, or 102.08. So either you can compute the b1 b naught like this, or you can make the normal equation, and from the by solving the normal equation you can get the same thing. If you do not recall the value of the means formula for the b naught b1, then better always you make the normal equation. So here line of regression of y on x will become y cap, means predicted value, right? It is equal to 102.08 minus 0.72 into x. So in question they have asked, if in a particular student has the marks 40 in midterm, what is the expected marks, predicted marks for the comprehensive or end term exam? So y cap for x is equal to 40 will be the 102.08 minus 0.72 into 40. So it will come on approximately 73.28. So that will be the predicted mass of that particular student. So that's all from the closed book part. Now let us move to the open book. In this also we have the two questions, b1 and b2. In the first question we have the three part, in the second question we have the four parts. So let us start with the b1. In the b1 part A, daily consumption of milk in a city in excess of 20,000 gallon is approximately distributed as gamma variate with parameter alpha is equal to 2 and beta is equal to 10,000. The city has daily stock of 30,000 gallon. What is the probability that stock is insufficient on a particular day? So when the stock is insufficient, when the demand is more than that, then only the stock will be the insufficient. Find the mean and variance of the daily consumption of the milk. So this question belongs to gamma variate. So first we have to define the random variable properly. So here we define the let x be the daily consumption of the milk in a city. Means that is the random demand, right? So what according to question we have another variable capital Y which we defined as x minus 20,000 means excess of 20,000, excess of 20,000 whatever the demand more than 20,000 follow the gamma distribution. So it is given to you y follow the gamma distribution with parameter alpha is equal to 2 and beta is equal to 10,000. So we know that for the gamma distribution f of y is equal to 1 upon gamma of alpha, right, beta to power alpha y to power alpha minus 1 e to power minus y upon beta. So f of y will for this question f of y will become 1 upon gamma of 2 10,000 to power 2 uh, into y into e to power minus y upon 10,000 for y greater than 0. So it is necessary to write the correct range also. So since the city has a daily stock of 30,000 gallon, in the city we have the stock of the 30,000 gallon. So when the stock is insufficient, when the consumption is more than the 30,000, means probability that stock is insufficient on a particular day is given by probability of x greater than 30,000. So when we subtract the 20,000 from on both sides, so x minus 20,000, 30,000 minus 20,000, so left hand side will become the y. So probability of y greater than 10,000. So by the probability theory, it will become integral 10,000 to infinity y upon means f of y. So y upon 10,000 whole square e to power minus y upon 10,000 dy. So when we integrate by part, you will get the required required probability as 2 upon e, right? You will get the required probability as a 2 upon e or 0.7358. Then you have to find the mean and variance for the daily demand or daily consumption. So here we have computed as a ex. So x is what? X is the x is what? It is the y, right? What we have assumed, what is the relation between the ex and ey? So x is equal to y plus 20,000. So it will become e of y plus 20,000, which can be written as e of y plus 20,000. And you know that for the gamma distribution, mean is given by the alpha into beta. So e of y is equal to alpha beta plus plus 20,000, alpha is equal to 2, beta is equal to 10,000. So it will become 2 into 10,000 plus 20,000. So it will give you total 40,000. Then variance of x. So variance of x will equal to the variance of y, and variance of and y follow the gamma distribution. So variance will given by the alpha beta square. So it will become 2 into 10,000 10,000 into 10,000 or power 2. Then in question number B1b, in an examination of 100 marks, it is laid down that a student passes if he seems 30 or more marks. Then only the student will assume to be a pass. He is placed in a first, second, and third division according to as he secured 60 or more marks between 45 and 60 marks, and um, marks between 30 and 45 respectively. He gets distinction in case he secures 80 or more marks. It is noticed from the result that 10% of the student failed in the examination, means they got the less than 30% marks, whereas 5% of them obtained distinction, means these 5% secured the or scored the more than 80 out of 100. Calculate the percentage of student placed in the second division. Assume marks are normally distributed. So here marks are given to you as a normally distributed. Follow the normal distribution. So in this case, what the information we have? If we have the marks, so marks are distributed normal normal distribution. Here we have the average marks, means x is equal to mu, and here we have the x is equal to 30, and here we have the x is equal to 80. So over the x is equal to 80, we have the 5% means 5% area, 5% area, and below the 30 we have the total 10% area. Now in between we have the, let it is the 45 and let it is the 60. So when we have the 60, so this side are the first division. Between 45 to 60, we have the second division, and between 30 to 45, we have the third division, right? And below 30, we have the failure. So what is given to you? When the marks less than 30, there are the 10% students. So probability of x less than 30 will be the 0.10, and 5% student scored more distinction, that is x greater than 80. So it will become 0.05. So from here, and we know that uh, normal distribution is symmetric about the average. So uh, probability of the 30 means it divide the, it is symmetric about the x is equal to mu. So less than mu and greater than mu, we have the same probability, 0.5 0.5. So here probability x lie between 30 to mu will become 50 minus 0.10, that is the 0.40, and marks between mu to 80, it will become 0.50 minus 0.05, that is the 0.45. So using the central limit theorem, we convert the given x into the standard normal distribution by subtracting the mu and divide by the standard deviation. So here it will become 30 minus mu upon sigma less than less than z less than mu minus mu upon sigma is equal to 0.40, and mu minus mu upon sigma less than z less than 80 minus mu upon sigma, it is equal to the 0.45. So on solving, you will get probability 30 minus mu upon sigma less than z less than 0 is equal to 0.40, and probability 0 less than z less than 80 minus mu upon sigma, it is the 0.45. So this will become mu minus 30 upon sigma as a point 1.28, and 80 minus mu upon sigma will become the 1.645 from the table. If you will see from the table, we have this value. From table, we have this value. So on solving these two, there are the two unknown mu and sigma. We have the two equation. So you can compute the value of the mu and sigma as sigma is equal to 17.12 and mu is equal to 51.9136 or 52 approximately. Then the probability that candidate is placed in the second division. So we have to compute this as a required probability, right? What is the probability that an individual uh, belongs to the second division? So here the marks of the student should lie between the 45 to 60. So probability for x between 45 to 60. So it will be, if you do x minus mu upon sigma, so it will become minus 0.41 less than z less than 0.49, right? So we have taken the mu as a 52 and sigma as a 17.12. So when we see the tabular value, its value will come 0.3394 or 0.34 approximately. So that much percentage student will secure the second division. Then in part C, let x be a discrete random variable with the following PDF: x is equal to -2 -1 0 1 2, fx is equal to 30 theta upon 3 1 minus 5 theta upon 3 theta upon 3 2 into 1 plus theta upon 3 and theta upon 3, where theta is unknown. Theta lie between where theta lie between 0 to 0.2 is a parameter. So this is the unknown parameter. It can take any value between 0 to 0.2 based on 8 independent observation: -2 0 1 2 -1 1 0 2. Find the maximum likelihood estimate of the theta. So first we have to determine the first we have to determine the estimator of the theta, and then we have to determine the estimate of the theta from the sample. So this is very good question to understand the maximum likelihood. So likelihood function, we know that it is nothing, it is the function for occurrence of the sample. So L theta is equal to f of -2 f of -1 into square of f naught f at 0 square of f x is equal to 1 into x square of f of the 2. Means here in the sample we have -2, right, single time, then -1, right, then -1 also single time, then we have the 0 0 two times, then we have 1 and 1 two times, then we have the 2 and 2 two times, right? So it will become, as I have told you, likelihood function is nothing, it is the function for the occurrence of the sample. So it will become f of -2 into f of -1 into f0 f of 0 and into f of 0 into f of 1 into f of 1 into f of 2 into f of 2, and corresponding function value is given to you. So this will become theta upon 3 power 5, 2 into 1 plus theta upon 3 whole square, and 1 minus 5 theta upon 3. So when we take the natural log on both sides, so left hand side will become ln of L theta, and right hand side will become 5 into ln theta minus 5 into ln 3 plus 2 into ln of 2 plus 2 theta minus 2 of ln 3 plus ln of 1 minus 5 theta minus ln of the 3 ln of 3. So when we take the first derivative with respect to theta, left hand side will become 1 upon L dl upon d theta is equal to 5 upon theta plus uh, plus 2 2 into 1 upon 2 plus 2 theta into 2 plus this will give you 2 or 1 upon 1 minus 5 theta into minus of 5. And for the maxima from the calculus we know, for computing the maxima, dl by d theta must equal to 0. So when we equate to 0, here we have the 5 upon theta plus 2 upon 1 plus theta minus 5 upon 1 minus 5 theta is equal to 0. So here you take the LCM. So in this case, you will get the theta is equal to minus 23 plus minus root of 23 square plus 4 into 40 into 5 upon 80. So on computation it will become minus 23 plus 36 minus 45 upon 80. So ultimately we have to take the means, because the theta is given to you, it lie between 0 to 0.2, so it is the positive, so we take the positive one, so it will come the 0.1682. So from the given sample we are obtaining the estimate value of the unknown parameter 30 using the maximum likelihood method. Now let us move to last question B2, in which we have the 4 parts. So uh, part A, two-sided 90% confidence interval for the population variance based on the sample from the normal population of size 15 has a length 5. Find the endpoints of that confidence interval. So in this case, the confidence interval is given to you a 90% confidence interval. Here we have the sample size, and here we have the length, right? Length of the confidence length of the confidence interval, and we are interested for the confidence interval of the population variance. So population variance, and it is given to you the sample you are computing from the, or you are drawing from the normal population. So here, when we have such kind of the question, when sigma is unknown, so confidence interval uh, is given by the means here the range is given to you as a 5, means L2 upper limit minus lower limit, means L2 minus L1 is given to you as a 5. So upper limit we compute as a mm, right 14, means n minus 1 s square upon chi square of 1 minus alpha at 1 minus alpha degree of freedom, minus L1 means 14x square n minus 1 s square upon chi square for degree of freedom 14. So is equal to 5. This is given to you. So from the numerator we can take 14s square as a common. So and from the table of the chi square for degree of the 14, we have the following value for 0.94, 0.94 and 0.05. So here we have the tabular value 1 upon 6.57 minus 1 upon 23.7. So on solving, you will get s square is equal to 3.246. So L1 and L2, from the first we will get L1 is equal to what? 14s square upon chi square for 0.05 at 14 degree of freedom. Its value will be the 1.918 from the table from the table available in appendix, and L2 will be the 6.917. Let us move to the part B. The proportion small p of citizens of a city using metro service is to be estimated within a maximum error of 0.06 with 90% confidence. So here error is also given to you. It should be the within the 0.06. Find the size of smallest sample required if three parts. First part, no prior estimate of P is available. So no estimation is available. Second, a prior estimate P is known to be at least 0.6, and prior estimate of the P is known to be at most 0.6. So here we know when when we proportion are not given directly, so n must be greater than equal to z of 0.05, right? 1 minus l means alpha z square of alpha upon 4d square. So d is given to you as a 5, d is given to you as a, so in this case distance is given to you as a, so it is given to you as a maximum error is a point 0.06. So here, so when we put the required value, you will get n is equal to 187.92. Hence, the smallest sample size, as I have told you earlier also, that always we take the ceiling value, so it will become the 188. By chance, proportion is known from the sample, you can write the p cap, right? So here, in that case, the formula will become n greater than equal to z square at 0.05 p cap into q cap upon 4d square. So here, since p cap belongs to 0.6 comma 1, so maximum of p cap into 1 minus p cap lie when p cap is equal to 6. So here we have the 0.6 into zero point 0.4, that is the 0.24. So when we put this value in the above formula, you will get the n greater than equal to 180.40. So from here the smallest sample size will become the 181. In the third part, it is given to you that this must be at most 80%. The prior estimate of the p is known to be at most 0.6. So at most 0.6. So here, uh, for the interval 0 to 0.6, maximum of p naught into 1 minus p naught will occur when p cap is equal to the 0.5. So it will become 0.5 into zero point 0.5, that is the 0.25. Hence the smallest sample size will become the 188. From using the above formula, we will get the 188. Then after, in the question B2 part C, so this is the question of hypothesis testing. The temperature in Celsius at Pilani in the month of December follows normal distribution with standard deviation of 2. Means standard deviation is known to you. Here the temperature, continuous random variable, follow the normal distribution with the standard deviation 2. The weather department had predicted the average temperature at Pilani in December to be 14 degrees centigrade. So that is the prediction of the weather department for the Pilani in the month of December. An unbiased review committee looks at the prediction based on the evidence. So identify the population and set up the null and alternative hypothesis. So first you have to recognize what is the population, what is the H naught and H1. So here what is the population? Population, we denote it by the capital X. Temperature in Celsius in Pilani at a random time in a particular month. So it is given to you that it is claimed that average temperature is not equal to 14. So H1 will become the negation of the 14. So H naught is the negation of the H1. So H naught will become mu is equal to 14. And it is given to you X is normal x follow normal variate or x follow the normal distribution. So x bar, the sample from the normal distribution, also follow the normal distribution with parameter mean is equal to same mean, that is 14, and standard deviation is equal to standard deviation of population divided by the root of the sample size. Now we define z as a x bar minus 14 upon 2 upon root 5 has a means it follow the standard normal distribution. So from the given information, from the given data, the z absorbed will come minus 2.4. So from the 2.4, we have the p value as a 0.0250, which is greater than 0.01. So when the p value is greater than the level of the significance, then hence h naught cannot be rejected. Means you have to uh, uh, accept the h naught. So here weather departmental prediction cannot be rejected. Means whatever they are saying, weather department is saying, that we have to follow. They are saying the correct thing. Now let us move the last question. A tube light producer company claimed that 80% of the tube light manufactured it have the lifetime more than 2 years. The consumer firm thinks the percentage is less. Identify the population parameter using listed, the null list being tested, the null and alternative hypothesis. Then in the second part, this survey conducted by the consumer forum to challenge the company's claim indicate that out of 150 randomly selected tube lights, 110 had lifetime more than 2 years. Does this evidence lead to rejection of the null hypothesis at 5% level of the significance? So in this question, what is the unknown parameter? Unknown parameter is the population parameter p, the proportion of the tube light produced by the company with lifetime more than 2 years. So it is given to you h naught will be the p is equal to proportion is equal to 0.8. So earlier also I have told you, for h naught denotes the null hypothesis and h1 denotes the alternative hypothesis, and always in the null hypothesis we have the is equal to. So p is equal to 0.8 and p is less than 0.8. So from here we compute the p cap as x upon 150. So where x is what? X is the number of the tube light with lifetime more than 2 years in a sample drawn of size 150. So by the central limit theorem, it will become p cap minus mu upon sigma upon root n. So here uh, z is the approximately standard normal distribution. Now from the given expression of the z, we can compute the z observation. So here z observation will come minus 2.05, minus 2.05, and critical region for the z will be the minus infinity to minus of z of 0.5. So when we see the table value, it will give you minus infinity to minus 1.645, which the observed value is outside this value. So here we say z not does not belongs to the critical region. So here h naught will be the rejected. Then determine the probability of type 2 error at 5% level of the significance if the consumer firm thinks that 70% tube light have the lifetime more than 2 years. So probability of type 2 error. Probability of the type 2 error means probability H naught is not rejected given H naught is not true. So we represent the probability of type 2 error with the beta, and it is nothing, it is the probability H naught is not rejected given H naught is not true. So what is the meaning? H naught is accepted if and only if, right, we have the Z greater than minus 1.645. So here from the given data we will get the, because Z is what? Z is the, right, here we have the Z is equal to p cap minus zero point 0.8 upon root of the zero point 0.8 into zero point 0.2 upon 150. So here you will get the p cap greater than 0.746. So beta will become the probability of the Z greater than 1.23. So from the table, if you will see, its value will be the 0.1093. So that is from the testing of hypothesis, right? So here testing of hypothesis of the proportion. So here we have the last question from the open book. So there are the total 4 questions, 2 in closed book, 2 in open book. So please do practice. If you feel any problem, right, you may contact me at this number 94144923449. So best of luck for the forthcoming examination. Thank you.